This structure is called the Safe Haven. In 5 minutes, 6 players will have to defend this structure from a raid. But this isn't your average raid. Thing number 1, I'm going to be spawning a few different creatures at this location. They are going to be villagers, iron golems, and other things that will help you defend this location. There will be a raid happening in 5 minutes. Your objective is to hold this location as much as possible and keep as many villagers alive. If they die, they don't come back, and there are only 8 of them.
Where are they?
I'll be spawning them in manually.
Okay.
So make sure to defend them with your lives, because if these are the only ones that are going to be on the world as of right now. So they are a very valuable resource. What you guys choose to do with them at the end of the event is up to you. If you want to kidnap all of them and take them for yourself, that's up to you, not up to me. This is a custom-made world, meaning there are only certain structures and not a single one is a village. The only way to get them is through zombie villagers or this exact event. Will these 6 players be able to keep this safe haven safe? Or will they fall victim to the Illager Empire? Let's find out. Wave 1 was simple, a few pillagers and some vindicators. However, players needed to play carefully. With a requirement system, these players only had the ability to use some items. This includes leather armor and stone weapons, nothing iron yet. The players mostly stayed in the structure using things like bows to their advantage, having the iron golems do the heavy lifting. This would have worked if someone didn't open the front door and let a few of them in.
Let's hope I don't actually burn down the village. I'm burning down the village. I'm burning down the village.
What?
Fireballs north.
Wave 2 was the first wave of some of the modded villagers, starting with the Igniter. Armed with a dispenser loaded with fire charges, he will burn you and everyone you know alive in seconds. Next is the Enchanter from Minecraft Dungeons. He might not do damage, but he can strengthen his allies by enchanting them, giving them things like more damage and more defense. Finally, I know you're focusing on it, the Crocofang. This is a hybrid between a Ravager and a Volkerfangs. They are weaker than Ravager in HP, but have a very powerful attack. One player was a bit confident and attempted to take on the army head-on. Let's just say that was met with quick wrath.
Oh, there's a mage. Oh, I'm dead.
For the most part, these Illagers were focused on the Iron Golems and the Ballista Golem, which were more cannon fodder than the players, honestly, as they can't seem to hit water in the ocean. Players used this to their advantage and used ranged weapons while the enemies were focusing on the Iron Golems. After a bit, players gained the confidence to push out and take the remaining Illagers on.
You're out there. That means definitely murder us all. Oh, that is a rabbit. What is that? There's a cave down there. Where?
The first and second wave might have been a bit of a breeze, but Wave 3 was going to change things. Wave 3 spawned with a few new enemies again, including the Preserver. This guy is trying to play as a Fortnite bush, but has a bit of an ability. He can give allies a massive damage reduction by also wrapping them in hay bales. However, any of the enemies that are wrapped in the hay bale will take double the burning damage. Then there's the Engineer, similar to the Enchanter in he can't do damage, but it's more of what he can make. You'll see some of the other ones later, but right now I'll bring up his first creation being the Factory, making one of 3 enemies. A tiny robotic Vex that doesn't fly, a tiny one that does fly but has a bow instead of a sword, and even mini robotic creepers. At first players were doing fine, as the Iron Golems made quick work of the first Ravager, and the enemies that were nearing the structure were shot down by the players. However, When the engineer crew had arrived, it really turned the scales of the battle. To make matters worse, the engineer had set up an arrow turret lined up directly out in the entrance. And let's just say, that's like having a minigun at the front door. They don't realize it's now, but they're gonna have to push out because of the guy in the back spawning these other creatures. That is not a soundboard edit, that is the actual game sound. And those guys apparently will screw your day up.
What the heck?
For the most part, it was the engineers' units that were screwing up everyone. These players didn't even know where they were coming from, and to make matters worse, these guys are not considered enemies in the raid. Meaning that even with the contraption still up, the engineer defeated, the next wave began. Wave 4 included some of the more fatal opponents, starting with the Freakager, and no, not that kind of freak, as in the horror kind. I'll save what he can do for later, but I hope you don't have arachnophobia. The Twitologer can be described in 3 ways. Your average Twitter user, your average COD player when they die, or an Illager who used to be an Igniter but now is on the last line and is taking you down with him. You'll see what I mean. Finally, the Absorber. This behemoth will never take more than 1 damage per hit, even if you hit him with the strongest weapon imaginable. However, they do not have any moments of invincibility frames. Fire or burning is the best weapon. Unfortunately for the players, the Freakager immediately beelined for the entrance, and was able to make it inside the structure. However, he will not take any damage nor do anything until he is the last one left alive. Players did not yet know this and tried to attack him to no avail. You cannot kill him yet. He's meant to be the last one. So he doesn't die. He doesn't die yet. You have to kill all the others first.
What is that thing?
Because they were so focused on the Freakager, it gave the Absorber plenty of time to move up to the front gate. And the only player who went to stop it was quickly taken down by the Twitchologer. Oh! For the most part, the villagers are still alive. For the most part. There's 3 in there, 3 in there, 1 in here. So 1 has died. Oh no, they made it in the building though. They finally beat almost every Illager. There's only 1 remaining. It was time to deal with the biggest problem. And I'll just let the animation play out for itself. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go.
What is that?
Excuse me, what is that?
It was at this point players needed some reinforcements, so I decided to bring out the cavalry. Mutant Snow Golem. Here comes the big guns, y'all.
Are they on our side?
Mutant Snow Golems are with you guys.
Oh, out of arrows.
Oh my god, this is bad.
Oh, what the heck? Ow. You know what? I need some more loot.
Players were having a rough time as many of the allies were accidentally causing friendly fire. From the help of the golems though, it didn't take long for the Freakager to die, but even the Rango had enough of the Freakager too. Stage 2.
Ow.
Oh, Rango's the big monster.
But look at the friggin' turret.
Oh my gosh, I'm...
Ow.
Oh, come on.
How do we damage it?
I have to admit this boss music is epic, though.
Scissor.
Ow.
Oh wait, I was getting cookies.
You almost got Rango. You almost got Rango. Oh, that's creepy. Oh. Wait, he won.
Oh, we did not.
And now for the funny part.
We won now.
The Freakager and the Rango had been defeated,
I think I.
but the raid was far from over.
We did it.
Now that they entered the 5th wave, Evokers began to spawn. And the Vexes on top of the Engineer's robotic Vexes and arrow turrets, there's a whole army within an army. The Illagers broke open the front gate like it was nothing, and the players couldn't do anything, as every time that they had died, it felt almost like being spawn camped, as the Illagers immediately were able to attack them in their beds. Not even the mutant Not even the mutant snow golems could help with the sheer number of enemies. As players did everything they could to get their loot, I decided it was my turn to step in. Don't worry boys, God's here to help!
I don't have that.
Wait, I lost.
Why do I keep
No,
doing all
it's-
this?
The players were lucky in the chaos, as a creeper ran into a structure and blew a hole into the underground bunker. One of the villagers managed to slip down into the bunker. He was safe for now. Wave 6, players kind of got really lucky, mainly because the entire army spawned in the ground. And by that, I mean in a small little hole, so I just ran over and punched them. Yeah, that wasn't a really tough wave. Wave 7 was going to prove to be the hardest though, as it had 3 Evokers upon spawning, and at the other end of the battlefield, the factories were still spawning bots. There were too many tiny enemies doing massive damage to the players. From how many enemies there were, players were just getting spawn camped. They couldn't even get to their loot or get out of the buildings they were in from the sheer number of Vexes and other items that were attacking. And sadly, it didn't take long for the final villager to be lost. In the end, the players were sadly unsuccessful, as all the villagers had been killed. And eventually, the snow golems, the iron golems, the priests, and even the ballista golems had all fallen.
Ow, oh shoot, I hit the tree.
The Illagers had left. For the players, the battle was lost. With the safe haven destroyed, players had lost what could have been the greatest asset. But for now, there would be no villagers on the server. Maybe in the future these players could get another chance. Maybe they could have beaten this with more people. Maybe you could be in these villagers. These kinds of events happen on my server, known as World War Medieval SMP. Although, to be quite frank, the title SMP is misleading. The server is meant to be a faction-based MMORPG. Explore a massive world with much to explore. Engage in epic battles with the Epic Fight mod. Learn the secrets to magic and cast powerful spells. Learn the power of engineering, creating redstone builds, and diving into the Create mod. Show the world what you can do. Build your own story. Warrior, wizard, farmer, business person, engineer, miner, and so many more options for your own path. The choice is yours on who you want to be. Participate in the server-wide events like this raid, or other events happening in the future. From portals that can spawn enemies from other dimensions, to even fighting me as a challenger. Fighting not your style? Participate in passive events. Things like gathering the most amount of money by the end of the week. The server may not be fully autonomous, but there are still many things that happen on their own. If this sounds like something you're interested in, there will be a link in the description to a Discord server as well as a CurseForge mod pack. This is Java Edition only, and if you don't know how to install the mod pack, or are having troubles running the mod pack, don't worry, we can help. I'll see you either on the server, or in the next video.